They call this music pass, but out here the wind does all the singing and I'm gonna do all the fucking huffing and puffing. Located just a few miles south of Westcliffe, Colorado, off of Highway 69, nice, is an area and hiking trail known as Music Pass. Now, though this is a four-wheel drive trail, you don't need four-wheel drive to get to the beginning of it. If you want to take up your ATVs, there's staging areas down here to pull your trailers in and unload. If you want to go in on horseback, they got corrals and hitching posts to help you unload your horses and keep them stable while you're doing everything. However, I've already driven 3 hours to get here, and I'd like to make it home before dinner, so we're going to drive all the way to the trailhead since I can do that. So, come along with me as I huff and puff my way up this mountain and totally regret eating a jumbo plate of nachos by myself last night. You know, before you head out to film yourself driving a trail, you should probably remember to bring all your fucking equipment. Not forget things like your window mount and mounted selfie stick so that you can actually get decent driving shots. Yay me!
Let go of your body, you can get in for free. She said sit down, take a number and do as you please. I said not I said not I'm breaking bad with
now we're getting close to the top of the trailhead here near the top of this. And though I have had to use 4-low, especially at the beginning, because there's a lot of steep, rocky sections at the bottom, it hasn't been all that bad. Now, if you got a vehicle with clearance, you shouldn't have a problem. There are a lot of high center spots. Shit, and little bumpy spots too, but overall, it's not too bad of a drive if you got a vehicle with the capability and clearance. You should be able to make it up to the top just fine. Save yourselves a few miles on the hike up at least. Well, it took me a hot minute to actually find the trailhead, because there was a tree kind of blocking my path and way, and I didn't see it right away. But we found it. So now we have 2.5 miles to go before we hit the top. I swear, every time I do this shit, I always forget just how steep shit is. Like, man, I got 2 months to lose some weight before I'm 40. I feel it. Luckily, this is one of those trails that's just steep enough to give me a workout without being steep enough that I have to stop every 100, 200 feet. Oh, I've done a few of those. It's also just steep enough that it makes the return trip easier. Oh, because if it's too steep, that's when I bust my ass. You know, every time I come up here to film one of these hikes, I find myself sitting, catching my breath, asking myself, why the fuck am I doing this? My knees hurt. I'm out of breath. I'm getting my ass kicked. And then I remind myself, I'm fat. I could stand to lose a little weight. My wife would appreciate it if I lived a little longer. Though I am deeply and thoroughly regretting eating that entire plate of jumbo nachos to myself right now. And to be truthfully honest, I probably could have had 3 or 4 less beers than I had last night. I might be feeling a little bit better today doing this. Remember when I started this? And I was happy I was on a trail, or I said I wouldn't have to stop every couple 100 feet to catch my breath. Turns out I fucking lied. There's gonna come a day where I can actually hike one of these trails without feeling like I'm grotesquely overweight. But today is not that day. Why? Why are you that steep? Just, what did I do that I feel I deserve this? Why am I doing this to myself? I sit here and ask myself this question. Is the trail that steep? Or am I just a little bit of a bitch? And then I can be reminded that 2 things can be separate, but also true. The trail is that steep as I look back down on it, and I am also a little bit of a bitch. Fat bitch. Whew. All right, back to it. Oh, and I just learned I got the distance wrong. It's not 2.5 miles in and back, 2.5 miles out. It's 2.5 mile round trip. It's only 1.25 miles in the way in. I feel even fatter right now knowing that. Wish I didn't. However, finding out that it's half the distance I thought it was means that 730-foot elevation gain is twice as hard as I thought it was, because I'm going up it twice as fast. So that's at least making me feel a little bit better right now. Though I'm not gonna lie, the only music I'm hearing up here is the Ballad of the Fat Guy, in which I'm the lead singer, guitarist, bass guitarist, drummer, and backup singers. Whew. All right, let's get back to it. At least as we get closer to our destination. The views are improving. That's kind of a nice sight right there. You know, if I had done this hike a couple weeks ago, like I had planned on, it would have looked a lot cooler up here. There aren't many aspens up here, but we at least would have been able to see the fall change of colors. But since the cold snaps, that has kind of come and gone. I was going to do it a couple weeks ago, like I said, but see, I ran into a slight problem. My dog decided to cuddle me early into the morning. He was really fucking comfortable, and I didn't get out of bed. No regrets. We're only about 600 feet away from, like, the peak of the trail. As I said, it carries on, and I believe you can take it up and over part of Sangre to get to the sand dunes, but I'm not full of that much self-loathing to even remotely try something like that. All right, we've reached the peak of the trail, but that's the slowest section. If you see, let me come over here. We started here, and now we're here. And if you don't happen to notice, that's a long ways to go to fish. I love fishing. Don't get me wrong. I love spending the day fishing. I don't want to spend my day hiking to get to go fishing. Fuck that. Just past here, Sangre De Cristo Wilderness, and you actually enter the wildlife preserve for the Great Sand Dunes. That's technically on the other side of those fucking mountains right there. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I want to dry heave just thinking about trying to go over the top of those. Take a look at this beautiful view. I imagine looks even better hiking down into it. But that's all I'm gonna do is imagine the view from the lakes down there. Because remember, what goes down must then come back up. And I've already come up, so I'd like to go down so I can get home on time for dinner tonight. And I'm gonna desperately try not to dry heave back up. So if you're someone that enjoys suffering and fishing, the upper and lower Sand Creek lakes are for you. But if you're someone that enjoys just a moderate amount of suffering, hiking to the top of the trail will suffice. To be honest, I ain't gonna go fishing anywhere. I pretty much can't back up my Jeep and pop out a canopy so I can fish in the shade. I ain't about the suffering to get my fish life, especially at a lake that, mind you, I should warn you, is catch and release only. If I can't take it home with me, why the fuck am I gonna suffer to get there? Yeah, I don't go fishing to get a workout. I go fishing so some small aquatic creatures can destroy whatever sense of self-confidence I may have woken up with that morning. And because I opened my big fat fucking mouth at the start of this and was all like, oh, it don't look that steep. It'll be easy to walk back down. No, it got steep. And now I risk eating shit on these rocks on the way back down like I do every single time I open my big fat fucking mouth. You know, one of these days I'm gonna learn to keep my mouth shut until I'm done with the trail. Today is not that day. So, as I hike my way back down this trail, I want to thank you for coming along as this fat guy bitched and moaned his way up a mountain again. One of these days it's going to get easier, right? It has to. Anyways, sorry there's no beautiful lake to see at the end of this one. Some things you gotta earn yourself. And it's by no means because I am feeling too fat today to do a 6-mile round trip hike plus. Shit. Actually, that's exactly what it means. This kicked my ass a little bit today and I just about ate shit right there. So thank you for coming along. I hope to catch you again and be seeing you around Southern Colorado. Only a quarter mile to the Jeep.